Hey guys, John here, and this week I'm bringing to you all of the best, quirkiest, weirdest tools from Amazon. So these aren't tools from around the world that you can't get your hands on. These are things that are available right now on Amazon. Some of them took a bit of hunting down. I went through pages and pages of Amazon to find the best and most unusual tools. I've got them all here now, and it's just in time for Amazon's Black Friday. There's a big buzz in the air about Amazon this time of year. Everyone's getting their presents ready. Now, what's Shadow Foam's Black Friday offer, I hear you ask? Well, this year we're calling it Grey Friday because we're launching Grey Foam. It's been much requested. Lots of people have wanted a neutral colour of foam, which has still got that colour contrast. So with Grey Foam, that brings us to 10 colourways. Shadow Foam is now available in 10 colours at shadowfoam.com. We released purple and pink a couple of months ago. With grey, that brings us to 10. What is your colour preference? Which one would you go for? If you're interested in getting your toolbox organised with the ultimate toolbox organiser, we've got Shadow Foam in 10 colours in all the different inserts, value packs, medium sheets, whatever way you need some foam. We've got it in all 10 colours at shadowfoam.com. And it doesn't stop there with our Grey Friday offer. We've also got a free t-shirt. Sorry I can't socialise right now. My tools need organising. This t-shirt is free with all orders over £60 over the next month from today. So head over to shadowfoam.com to take advantage of that. And if that wasn't good enough, we've also got 15% off site-wide with code GreyFriday15. So bang that in at checkout, you'll get 15% off. You get a free t-shirt. And our normal offers that have been up all year, our starter kit and our free cutting kits with most orders, they're still active as well. So make sure you go and take advantage of one of our best offers we've ever had, and I think quite a cool t-shirt. So that's the Shadow Foam offer. Let's get into the tools. And another little thing to point out is one of these boxes has got some stuff from Bosch. Bosch saw our tool panel behind me. If you can't see already, I'm a big fan of the Bosch Professional Tools, and they've just released a whole ruck of new stuff, and it's all available on Amazon. Now, they reached out to us because they saw that video and they said, can we send you some stuff for your giveaway? And I could not deny some free tools for a giveaway, and they're in one of these boxes. So make sure you've dropped a comment, subscribed and liked the channel, and you'll already be entered into what I think is a really cool, one of our best giveaways for some nice Bosch Professional Tools. So let's get into it and start opening these boxes. I think we start with a classic Amazon looking box. This one is not packed too well because everything's sliding around inside. So let's open this one up, see what we've got. This is a pretty cool start actually. I forgot I found a Wera tool. Now I didn't think I'd be finding quirky, weird Wera tools or Wera tools, however you pronounce it, on Amazon. I was looking for basically multi-tools, combination tools, things that perform, you know, 2 or 3 functions, and Wera popped up. Like usually it's like innocuous brands you've not heard of, but this thing popped up and it is essentially a 1/2-inch socket wrench with a hammer built in, and not just a flat face hammer there, you've also got like a rubber mallet on the other side. And then this handle, which I'm not, the whole thing looked weird and strange, and I thought I'm gonna have to get this and investigate. It's got a hammer function, fine tooth adjustment, and then a mallet, and you can also push this through, it says. So you can kind of like have a longer 1/2-inch driver, which is just strange, isn't it? It's got a label, they call it the Ratchet and Hammer. So there you go. It does exactly what it says in the tin. It's a ratchet and a hammer. And then this thing, I don't even know. What even is that? It's got an additional handle. Does that pull out? No. Have they sent me an extra handle by accident? Have I ended up with a spare handle? It's got a little holster to go on your belt. So I'm kind of picturing this might be good for scaffolders. Scaffolders tend to have stuff like this, hammers, and then they'll just have one fixed socket on there for like literally tightening up like a 19mm adjustment on like a scaffolding clamp, and then they'll be using that to hammer the posts in. What is going on with that? I think they've accidentally sent me another handle for it because I can't see where that would go. There's literally nowhere for that to attach. There's a little booklet, and in the booklet, it just says, "Dear customer, congratulations on purchasing a Wera Koloss." So it doesn't say it on the box that it's a Koloss, but it says it in the book. Oh, I found it. It's an extension. It goes in the end. It's getting even weirder. Who needed a hammer extension? Was the market crying out for a hammer extension? And it says, connected to Wera hammer. How do I get this out? It's stuck. Oh, it doesn't pull out. There must be some there's got to be some trick to it. Look at that, you've got to push that pin in to get that out. That is crazy. Once that goes in there, it is not coming out easily. That is baffling. Let me know in the comments if you use one of these or if you've ever seen it. It's called the Wera Koloss. That is a crazy looking tool. That is a strong start for crazy tools. Let me know what you think in the comments. We've started strong there with Wera. Let me know, Koloss, Wera Koloss, have you heard of it? That's number 1. Right, next up, another little packet. 2 in 1 in this one. Right, so to start with, we've got a couple of little screwdrivers. Now, I've seen these before, but from Stanley, and it's essentially a little 4-way screwdriver. Really cheap. I think it was £5 for 2. and it's just quite handy. If you're making a little toolkit to have in the car, it's 2 screwdriver bits and they rotate. You've got 2 Phillips and 2 flat-headed screwdrivers. It's literally in the form of a pen. Now you get a lot of pen screwdrivers, but out of all the ones I've used, this one is a bit more versatile. The bits are a bit wider than your typical like watchmaker screwdriver. So for £5, you can get a novel little tool and a pair of them, put them in 2 little toolkits. And then this thing is something I've not seen before. Now SabreCut were a brand I came across a couple of times. They all seemed a little bit unusual, a little bit like combinations that I've not seen before. This is a screwdriver and a saw. Have you ever heard about a screwdriver and a saw being combined into one item before? I haven't. So we've got a handle that kind of rotates. Feels quite nice and solid, to be fair, that. And then you've got a 1/4" bit on the end. So that's pretty standard stuff. Is it ratcheting? No, so it's not a ratcheting screwdriver, it's just, you put that in there, you lock it, so it's literally just a fixed screwdriver, but you have got the ability to kind of like turn it into a trigger grip. And then it says the screwdriver bit in the head, so that's another advantage. You've got 6 screwdriver bits and a 1/4" bit, so you can turn that into a socket driver. So that's pretty cool in and of itself, but not very novel. The novel thing was you can take the screwdriver bit out and put a standard reset blade in. So if you've ever like cut out a bit of plasterboard to make way for a socket, you'll have probably used a pad saw. And there we go, that's a pad saw now. And it feels pretty good. You kind of lock that in position and it's not going anywhere. And the main thing I like is some of these little like jigs like this have a specialist saw blade that you need. And obviously if you knacker it, where do you get new ones? Or you'd have to buy specialist ones. That's a standard reset blade, which you can get anywhere. Cheap ones, expensive ones, all sorts of different lengths and to cut different materials. And just quite handy. And it feels pretty good in the hand, that. I'm quite happy with that. As multi-tools go, do you need a fixed blade screwdriver like that? Because, you know, I feel like it's pretty good on its own, just being a recip handle that's solid, that can turn into a trigger grip. So links for all these things are going to be down in the description below. Oh, and you get a pouch. Oh, there you go. It's got even better. So you get a little pouch for it, and you can put your recip blades in there. I feel like that's the kind of thing you can just stick in your toolkit, and it's got a little separate pouch for the screwdriver shaft too. And if you need a little jab saw, that is amazing. I like that. So 3 items deep already. Get them out of the way. Let's have a look for another one. I'm going to go for another one of these pouches, to be fair. That was a good one. I think there's multiple items in each box. What else is in here? So this one, another weird little tool. A lot of the things I was looking for were combination tools because you tend to find some of the stranger stuff. This is a hammer with it's kind of like a rubber mallet on one side. It's kind of like a nickel hammer on the other side. And on this end, we've got another little screwdriver. Bit of a theme there, isn't it? A lot of these companies try and build in a screwdriver in some capacity just to give it that multi-tool description. It's called Julalhandsome. So nice complimentary name there. Oh, pass me the old Handsome screwdriver, will you? What, the hammer? No, the Handsome screwdriver. Got a good weight to it, that. Whether or not anyone out there wants one of those in a toolkit, I have no idea, but you can see what I was gunning for. I was going through Amazon and anything that just looked weird, like who needs a hammer screwdriver, I was getting it. So that's in the list. This one I recognise because this was a recommendation. I saw this tool in a video from John Gadget. We'll put a link to him down in the description. And essentially he does a lot with EDC, everyday carry tools, and he's coming at it from a different angle. He's putting like clever little tools that cover multiple angles into little kits. And I'd never seen this thing before. And it's quite similar to this, to be fair, in its nature. So it's similar size handle, and it takes standard reset blades. But what I quite liked about it is it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop with reset blades. It also takes jigsaw blades. There you go. So you can put a normal standard jigsaw blade in there and it'll lock in place. And it'll also take hacksaw blades all the way down into the handle. So I just felt like in terms of which one do you want in your kit as a backup, that is a winner for me. That is incredible. Like literally a handle for any blade that you've got in your, if you're going in through your van, going through your toolbox, trying to find some sort of pad saw to just go around a corner. You know, you could even use it as like a little coping saw if you've got really fine jigsaw blades just to get around corners and things. I think that is a really solid pickup, and it wasn't expensive. The brand is called Toolan. We'll put a link, like I say, in the description down below. We'll put them in order. But this one, I thought, in your tool bag, any blade that you have, including hacksaw blades, can be turned into a pad saw, and you can even like lock it in place wherever you need to. I tell you what, we've only just got started. We're only 3 boxes deep, and I've already got some absolute bangers here, I think. I could have split this up into multiple videos, but you've got to over-deliver. I think we're going to over-deliver big time. Let's get another one. Who knew Amazon was such a good hunting ground for tools? Because it did surprise me. I just kept adding and adding stuff to the basket. So another couple of items in here. Let's go with this one. Right, so this is like a cheap version of something I saw in a Facebook ad. So this is like basically an adjustable circle guide, which I thought might be quite cool for cutting sockets in foam. So if I want to cut that into foam, I could wrap around it, I've locked the size there, lay it on the foam, and then cut the circle. So I thought that was actually a really handy one for my toolkit. When I saw this in the Facebook ad, I'm sure it was 100 quid or more. So the fact that they're now made, obviously, probably not nearly as good a quality, but it still works. It's still very functional and quite satisfying, to be fair. That is quite a satisfying tool. So that's in the pile. Let's keep going. I tell you, this is going to be a weird list. This is something that just, I can't remember what YouTube channel I saw someone using this on. I think it was a guy called Eoin, and he makes stuff out of wood, and he was making a birch chair. Basically, this one tool here, if you took that into the wilds with you, you could use it for making stuff. And essentially, you put a stick through there, and then you can kind of like drill holes. And then you use this side here, you can kind of see it goes to a point. You can use that to drive down, use like a hammer, knock that down on a branch, and essentially you'll make a branch that exact thickness, which fits in that exact hole. So he was making like a birch chair with it, and essentially he was kind of like drilling the hole, putting all the things together, drilling the holes in the base of like a seat, and he made an entire chair with pretty much an axe and this. Really great guy, he makes some really amazing shorts, not using power tools very often, but he used one of these, and then again it's something I added to my basket thinking I'm going to have a look at that. If we make a survival toolkit, the ultimate survival toolkit, you know, the woodsman's kit, that has got to be in it. Not very much either. I think that was literally a, 8-10 quid, not very much money. Comes with a little handle. I think that's just so you can kind of like grip it really tight and you're not holding onto the drill bit. And then it's got a little pouch as well. So little cool pickup. It's going to get random. It's honestly, I thought it was random with the Wera hammer, but it's all coming back to me now what I bought. Anything that was interesting, quirky, and definitely fell into the tool category, that was the main criteria, is in the pile. Right, let's keep going. Another little packet from Amazon. Right, so this is another brand of SabreCut. I knew I had some more SabreCuts to come in. And then this is a CK box cutter. So if you didn't know, I've seen these before, never owned one, but I thought it was a good opportunity to pick one up. So I've gone and got a multi-tool. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially a power tool that can take all sorts of different blades, and they're a bit of a get-out-of-jail power tool. They're really handy in a pinch to kind of cut down into corners. If I'm cutting out dry lining boxes, I'll be using this. This, however, should make cutting dry lining boxes almost instantaneous, because rather than having to, typically, you put a box on the wall, put a level on it, draw around it with a pencil, and then use a standard multi-tool blade to kind of cut the socket out. Whereas this thing, the idea is you literally just lock that onto your multi-tool and you can cut a full box in one pass. And you've kind of got a little bit of a dome on it, so it cuts kind of the center first and you can get a nice accurate box. As long as it's level, you're just literally whizzing boxes into plasterboard. Never owned one, but I thought this was a great opportunity to get a, as soon as we're getting a weird tool bundle going, to get one and give it a go. So pretty happy to have that. Next time I'm doing some electrics, I'll be well pleased. That should save me a lot of time. And then the item from SabreCut is another little tool I had in mind for a compact toolkit, or look how tiny that is. And essentially, it's a 10 and 11 mil ratchet spanner, or just the ring off a ratchet spanner, the two together, and then you've got two little adapters as well. So you can put that in there, and that turns it into a 1/4 inch bit, and then you put the other one in, and then this is a 1/4 inch socket driver. So you've kind of got two spanners, two fixed size spanners, and a 1/4 inch socket driver and a 1/4 inch bit driver, all in one tiny little item. Whether or not you can use that for much, I don't know. It's certainly well made. You can feel the quality of it. Both SabreCut items are really good quality. It's a new brand on me. I've not really seen much SabreCut stuff before. And if we're making like a little pouch of tools, which I do like, having a little pouch of tools in the glove box, the more tools you have on you, the more problems you can solve. That's how I find it. You know, I'm a problem solver by nature, and it's kind of like this kind of thing you could just have in a small pouch in your glove box. I like it. So this is looking strong already, and I've not even got into the massive boxes. Let's open this, another little small box, before we get into the massive ones. All right, so we've got a couple of items in here. Yeah, I told you there's some good brands. I forgot what I bought. So we've got some Klein screwdrivers. I've got a Sealey knife and then a Siligun. Now, I saw this on a video. I was quite keen for this because if you've ever used a mastic gun or a silicone gun, they're usually about this big. A typical silicone gun, they cost peanuts. You're like 2-3 quid for a silicone gun, but they're quite chunky. And putting it in a foam layout or a compact kit, or even just putting it in a standard traveling toolkit, takes up a lot of room. This thing though, for all intents and purposes, is the exact same thing. It's the exact same silicone gun, but they call it the compact cork gun. It squirts silicone in an entirely different way. Rather than like the rod that pushes from the back, this thing kind of pulls the tube through and actually cuts the tube. You can feel the sandpaper in there as well to grip the tube. We've got to give this thing a go. I think this thing is fascinating.
Fascinating.
Right, so I've gone and got a standard tube of silicone and the tip for it. It says cut the tube's tip off, so pretty standard stuff. Cut the tube's tip off, and then obviously we'll stick that on as well. I always cut this piece off, and then cut the end off. That's all pretty standard, so we're all normal up to this point. It then says press the clutch, insert tube and release. We've taken a jump there. We've gone from cut the tip off the tube to press the clutch. Press the clutch.
You're gonna bring the clutch!
I guess that's the clutch at the front. Tube goes in. I think that's it. I think it is very simple. I did see a video of a guy using it. So essentially, rather than pushing from the back, it pulls the tube in while squeezing the stuff out. And then while it's pulling the tube in, it cuts the tube down the length of it. So it's pretty crazy to think you can take such a big chunky silicone gun and move it into literally that. You know, let's see how it goes anyway. So I'm pulling it, squeezing the trigger, and I can see it's pulling the tube back into the body of the, yeah, and it's cutting it already. That is crazy. And it's pretty smooth. I had a vision that you'd have to pull really hard to get it to cut. That is really, really easy to pull. I can see the tube coming through here. There you go. That is the silicone gun in action. That feels easier to pull than a normal silicone gun, actually. That is a clever little thing, Siligun. It says it's patented, so big up to the guys who invented that. We'll put a link in the description to the Amazon link, and hopefully they sell a few. I think it is like a small family invention, and they've patented it, and someone's come up with it. I love stuff like this. I just think that is so, so clever. And then you pull that trigger, and I'm guessing the tube just slides out, and then you can put that in storage like you normally would, and then load up your next tube, and you can kind of see there it started cutting down the tube, and then basically the empty tube just pokes out the back, and you can even cut that off. Kind of says on here to save space, just cut the tube off. You can even get into tight corners. If you're trying to silicone in a tight corner, that could even be a solution for that. What a clever gadget. I'm super impressed with that. That is amazing. That has met my expectations, or exceeded them to be fair, because I didn't expect it to be such an easy pull on the trigger. So I've made a bit of a mess here. Let me get this out of the way, and then I've got two more things to get into. Next up is a quirky little pickup I found from Sealey. Now I like Sealey, they're another UK brand, and this knife kind of stood out to me because not only is it multifunction, it's also got a lifetime guarantee on it, which I like. Also a nice kind of clean colorway. It looks like titanium almost, doesn't it? That grey color. But essentially it's a utility knife with a kind of like box cutting knife or like a standard knife built in as well, but no bigger or no thicker than a standard utility knife. I'm always on the lookout for a utility knife that's a bit different. I will be doing like a utility blade knife match up at some point because I've got about 20 of them right now. This is my first one that's got a blade and a utility knife in one, so quite happy with that. And Sealey have some great stuff. The boxes behind me, these black 9-drawer Sealey boxes, I'm always getting asked about them. These come to conferences with me. They've got 9 drawers for 9 colours of shadow foam, now 10, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got 10 colours of shadow foam now. I'm going to have to put a liner in the top hutch section, I think. But yeah, so that is the knife. Next up, we've got something from Klein. Now this is amazing, this tool. I really am impressed with this tool because I saw one of these about 20 years ago. An old guy, an electrician I work with called Jimmy Mackin. Shout out to Jimmy. He was a great guy and he had some interesting tools in his toolkit. It might have been part of why I started loving quirky tools because they were like real problem solvers. And I mentioned it on our live stream the other day. And if you didn't know, we live stream every Monday at 6:30. I'm usually live for about 2.5 hours, cutting foam, talking tools. And if you want to join in, it'd be great to have you. So it's Friday today. Come back on Monday to the exact same channel and I'll be here in this same studio talking tools, cutting some foam. We've got a cool project planned on Monday. So after this video, check the channel. There'll be a premiere scheduled stream in the live section of our channel. Go and click the notifications on that and then you won't miss Monday's stream. But on the last stream, I mentioned this screwdriver from Jimmy Mackin, and one of the viewers said, oh, Klein have got that. And essentially, I'll show you, if you've ever used kind of like brass screws or screws that aren't magnetic, a magnetic screwdriver just doesn't work. And some magnetic screwdrivers aren't very good anyway. Well, this one is kind of like a split head. It's a flat-headed screwdriver, but it's a split head. So you put the screwdriver tip into a screw head, and then you push this collar down, and essentially it kind of widens the two bits of metal. It pulls them together, makes them wider, and clamps the screw. So it's not using a magnet, it's using literally the force of the two heads being pushed apart to hold it, which there are other versions of this. I've seen like little collars and little plastic collars that hold the screw head, but typically they're really kind of like wide. So they'll kind of cover and they'll be wider than the tip of the screw. But if you look at that, that screw is clamped there, but not using magnets, just by the force of the two tips being pushed apart. And that way you can get through little tiny little gaps and through little holes, and you can kind of wandangle it through a lot easier. And magnets sometimes, It depends really. You can have a really good magnet, maybe the screw's not working or magnetising very good or whatever, or you can get a little remagnetizers for the tip of your screwdriver, but that can't wear off. That's why I've always liked it. And there's two sizes that come in the pack. I got these off Amazon, and essentially it's one of those, it's like if you're doing a lot of a particular job, like for me working in machines, trying to put screws back in, sometimes you're really reaching down and trying to get a screw in a slot somewhere. And if that screw falls off, it's just a nightmare trying to keep going and going and going. So I thought that is a pretty cool, innovative, clever screwdriver design. And again, I thought when I saw it 20 years ago, I'd never see it again. But big up to the guy on the stream who let me know that these are still available. And he sent me the link and I was able to buy them. And again, if I didn't know, what do you search? Split head screwdriver? I'll tell you, if you search that, you won't find them. But there we go. Klein tools on the list.
You just made the list!
Oh my gosh. So I think next up we go for a big old box, and maybe this beastie Amazon one is feels pretty chonky. And let's have a look. I can see some classic Bosch colours. So we're into the Bosch professional VDE stuff. Now I knew this stuff was coming, but I don't know how much they've sent me. So they've sent me the 3-piece VDE plier set. They've sent the Torx driver set. They've sent the screwdriver set. That's like a toolkit in itself. That is like an electrician's starter kit. We've also got a pair of big high leverage diagonal cutters. I like the handles on these already. But all of the Bosch professional stuff, if you can't see already, I'm a fan of the Bosch Pro stuff. Really nicely made, a nice range. But there were a couple of misses. When we built that panel, there were a few things we said they didn't have. And VDE Tools was one of them. And obviously, I doubt that our video had any impact, but they clearly had these in the pipeline. They've also sent me some wire strippers and some crimpers we've got here. We've got 2 knives, electrical knives. Electrician's knives. I think we're going to have a full electrical toolkit going on here. What else have we got? And they're insulated spanners. So I've got some insulated spanners already from Baco, but this is just an 8, 10, 13 and 17 little 4-piece kit, which is kind of the only 4 sizes you really need. And then they've also included the water pump pliers. When I put this board together here, that was one of the main things I said they were missing. Any sort of pipe grip. And obviously they've come out swinging with pipe pliers because they've not just brought out one. They've got a standard set of alligator grips, but then also these are like parallel grips. So that is pretty awesome. That is a full box of goodies. And I know they sent me a giveaway, 5 of something, and it's not in here. So I'm almost tempted to pull out the next box and see which that one is. This one looks around about the same size and style. More Bosch logos, and I think this is the one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Bosch Torx driver sets, which I think is a pretty good option really. Most people who need a VDE Torx driver set probably already have a screwdriver set, so this would be a pretty good addition to any electrical toolkit, or any toolkit to be fair. Always handy to have these, and really good quality ones too. So if you want a Bosch VDE 7-piece Torx driver set, I've got 5 to give away. You know how we do the giveaways on the channel. We keep them really, really simple. All you've got to do is drop a comment below this video. We're talking tools. Let me know, out of all of this on the table so far, and there's more to come, any of these catch your eye? Any of these you think you might pick up over the Black Friday period? Let me know in the comments. I read all the comments and I do reply to as many as I can. And while you're down there, make sure you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notifications bell. If you do all of that, you'll be entered into the giveaway. And we do loads of giveaways on this channel, and the giveaway draws are always in our live videos now. So make sure you join the lives on Mondays, and if you do win, we'll reach out to you, we'll get your address. No matter where you are in the world, we'll ship these out to you. So don't miss out, get a comment down below. And yeah, let's put these to one side and have a look at these Bosch tools.
Front cover Bosch.
So let's get into it and have a look at these kits, because they do look really, really good. And I've got high praise for Bosch professional tools. They are really, really smart. Everything I've had in that panel, it was really well made, and just good quality and good value too. We'll put all the links for this stuff in the description if you're interested. But yeah, they follow the exact same form and quality as the mechanical set that I've got. And the good thing I like about these already is that the insulation goes narrow. I don't know if you've seen electrical screwdrivers or you've worked with them. Some of them have like a thick insulation cover right down to the tip, and it can be like a mil sometimes. So the idea of trying to get the screwdriver tip into a terminal to kind of turn it, the insulation will block you from doing that. This, you can see, is flush. Literally, the insulation is flush. It's no wider than the metal tip itself. On the terminal one, there is a little bit of a step, to be fair, but on the bigger ones, which, to be fair, if you've ever tightened a wire into an MCB, miniature circuit breaker, usually you're using a wider screwdriver like this, one of the bigger ones, and that's the one where the insulation can block you off. So they are really well made, nicely thought out. You also get a little neon screwdriver in there too, which Feels nice. Not a big fan of these. Let me know how you get on with these down in the comments. I prefer a little volt stick, but that is a nicely made one, to be fair. And that's the screwdriver kit, so that's pretty nice. We've got a good spread of screwdrivers there. Put the packaging out of the way. So we've got a good selection of screwdrivers. Quite like the foam insert too. That would kind of save you a bit of time setting up a toolbox. Next up, we've got the Torx drivers. So they follow the exact same principle as the screwdrivers. So the exact same handle and style as the standard screwdriver set, and they've got the insulation that goes really, really narrow on the end. That is really smart. They must have actually cut the metal back there to have the insulation still be thick enough to give it that 1000 volts coverage. So that is a really nicely designed screwdriver. I like that a lot. And obviously we've got our 7-piece set, so those together in a drawer will look really smart. And then here we've got the plier set. So we've obviously got an extra set of diagonal cutters. So with the standard plier set, it's what you'd expect really. Bull nose pliers, long nose pliers, and then a pair of snips, 3-piece set. But again, I really liked the non-VDE versions that we had in here. And you can see they're the same kind of pattern on the handles, but these are just the VDE version. And they've got kind of like this satin chrome vanadium finish, which just gives it a really premium feel. So that is a really nice set, and they've obviously been kind enough to supply the extra ones as well. So if you're kind of putting a toolkit together and you prefer a bigger pair of snips, which some people do, they much prefer to have a wider jaw, you can get this diagonal set rather than the little standard pair of snips. And they've also got the crimping tool and the wire stripper as well. So quite nice that they're expanding the range as well, because I thought it was pretty good when I did that panel, and they've subsequently added more and more again. So it's never expanding range. Quite keen to have a look at these too. So like I say, electrical spanners are something I already have in my toolkit, electrically insulated spanners, and they're not something I use a great deal, but certain applications you have to have them. So depending on what you do, let me know in the comments if you ever use insulated spanners. But that is a nice little pack, and they do look smart. There's something about having a full set of VDE tools all laid out in foam. I've got a drawer behind me here of my like classic VDE tools from when I was working in factories. It was a kit I worked on and built over time. And it doesn't matter what brands you have, they all match and they all look smart. If I put those in there right now, because they're all red and yellow, doesn't matter what brands they are, as long as they're good quality, you can kind of have a really nice looking drawer and a really nice looking kit. So the set of electrical insulated spanners I've got is from Baco, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-piece set with an insulated adjustable. A lot of those I've never used. These are the common sizes in England in metric stuff. 8, 10, 13, 17 is probably all you need. So that is a little beauty of a set. I really like that. Before I open the next box, let me have a look at these. The only annoying thing about this pair of grips is it kind of makes me want to redo that whole panel behind me, because these grips need to live in that panel. And I think this panel did really well. I think it's on about 150,000 views. There's been a lot of great feedback, and it's missing a few items already. That is the beauty of shadow foam. You know when something's missing. But I could do now with taking out the power tools and putting the grips in there. But maybe that's a project for a live stream. Let me know if you want to see that on a live stream, because I'm cutting drawers, I'm cutting toolkits, things you don't usually see, and obviously chatting live with all you guys over on the stream. So nice quality pair of parallel grips and a nice quality pair of alligator grips as well. Everything I've had from Bosch Professional has been a really, really good quality item. It's as if they just go slow and steady releasing their tools and making sure they get each one right, rather than releasing things that aren't going to be right and aren't going to complement the range. So that is awesome. So that is the VDE stuff. If you want to win a set of those Torx drivers, just pause the video, go and drop yourself a comment so you don't miss out. Next box is a slightly different colour box, but it looks like it still come from Amazon. Let's have a look what's in here. 2 items. We've got, this one's a bit torn up. Yeah, this is pretty cool looking thing. This is a made in Japan saw, Japanese saw. That's weird. It's like a blade sheath with no blade in it. I'm guessing the blade's in here. This is made in Japan, and it's called the Roamwild Multitool Saw Pro. Cuts all wood and plastic with ease, 2 blades in 1 saw. And that is what drew my eye to it. It's kind of a saw with a blade on both sides. Look at that. You've got fine teeth on the top, and then kind of like a not as fine tooth. It still looks quite a fine tooth on the bottom, to be fair, but it's not as fine a tooth on the bottom. US patent, made in Japan, the Roamwild multi-cut saw. And blade looked a bit unusual, but so did the handle. That is a crazy looking handle. I'm not sure how this thing goes together. So the blade clips into the handle. You kind of push that button in there, and then you clip the handle in. You can have it that way around, or you can kind of press the button, pull it out, and then flip it over and have it that way, depending if you want to use the fine teeth or the other teeth. But it's also got like a hammer built into the handle. So it's like, again, they're trying to level it up from a standard tool to a multi. I think I searched multi-saw to find this. And it's got like a hammer in the handle, but it's also got a tack puller. So it's kind of like a claw hammer and a hammer and a two-way saw as well. So made in Japan, pretty interesting looking thing, I'm sure you'd agree. The Roamwild, pretty mental. Have you ever used that? Let me know in the comments. That is a pretty cool looking tool. That definitely ticks the box of quirky, I'm sure you'd agree. Next up, we've got a The Best Life Outdoor Climbing. So I remember what this is. This is me trying to scratch the itch of a multi-function hammer, or a compact hammer. It's kind of a really thin, hollow aluminium handle, then a claw hammer, and then a little flat face hammer, but it's quite compact. I mean, the whole thing feels a bit like it would break quite quickly because the handle is aluminium, really thin and light, and the head does feel quite heavy, but this is the kind of thing, I saw it on Amazon, I saw the listing, and it looked like it could be a pretty good item. That's a hollow tube there. You could slot a full tool down there and have a multi-tool that's even more functional, and it'd give more weight to the handle. So I like the idea of that. That could be improved, but I'm glad I've seen it in person. Sometimes a picture kind of tells you half the story, but with a tool, you kind of need to get hands-on with it. So I don't know if that'll be going in my compact kit, but pretty cool. We're getting near to the end now. I've got this big box left, and then I've got a beastie toolbox, which I'm pretty excited to show you that, to be fair. That was another thing that was sent to us for free, sold on Amazon, and I thought, because it's on Amazon and there's a Black Friday deal on it, that is a good one to include. And obviously I've got to have some sort of toolbox to put all of these tools in. So let's get into the last big Amazon box and see what's in here. I've entirely forgotten what is left. I feel like half of this stuff has surprised me. So what is in here? Right, okay, so this is a beastie little tool, this thing. This is from Huepar. I thought there was multiple items in this box, to be fair, but actually there is one beastie item, and it is a laser level, as far as I remember. So Huepar actually reached out to us, offered to send us this, and I thought, well, we are looking at quirky, interesting tools. Most lasers, like my laser that I use, is a DeWalt one, and I've kind of got a lot of different DeWalt power tools. And when I think of lasers, I kind of think of the power tool companies. But there's quite a lot of manufacturers now that are independent, Huepar being a great example of that have their own kind of ecosystem of stuff, and they can have a standalone laser. I've never had a kind of three-way laser like this before. So I've just run and got my current laser. This DeWalt model here has just got horizontal and vertical, and to be fair, it's been pretty trusty. Really strong magnet, I mount it on the wall. It does the trick for me, and you can pick these up for about 100 quid. But it's kind of like quite back to basics level. I mean, a laser level isn't basics anyway. I feel like if you're doing a lot of work, you're mounting things, you want them straight, you've got to have a laser level nowadays. They are an absolute game changer, if you didn't know already. I love this laser level. When Huepar reached out though and offered to send me a laser level, and I had a look at the listing for this, this goes above and beyond my basic version. This does a lot more stuff, and it's pretty quirky in the fact that it can solve a lot more problems than your basic laser, and it's got a full kit of extra bits. And I've just looked it up, it's 200 quid on the Black Friday sale. So that is pretty good. You can pay about £500–600 for a branded 360 laser like this that takes like a Milwaukee battery or DeWalt battery. This is 200 quid, and essentially it's doing the same thing. First improvement over my classic DeWalt, which I do love and it has been really trusty, is this one is a 360-degree level. So with this one, literally I'm firing a laser forwards and it's about 180-degree range, and you can see the kind of green laser line peters out. Whereas this one is super bright, 360 degrees all the way around, and obviously it's got 3 axes. It's got 2 horizontal lines, which can be better sometimes when you're trying to line something up and maybe you're losing one line, or you're trying to set up a top and a bottom. So that's pretty cool. I also quite like this little fine adjustment plate. Don't know about you, but sometimes I'll find myself stacking my laser on a stack of books, or I'm getting a bucket, an upturned bucket, putting it on a cardboard box, on a toolbox, and I'm trying to just, like, you know, put another book underneath, put another thing underneath, put some packers underneath. With this, it comes with this little fine adjustment table, so you can still use your upturned bucket if you need to, depending where you're working. But then you can just use this little plate here for like fine adjustment, which it's a nice little thing to include in the little bundle for 200 quid. It's a really cool little accessory, and you know, it's the kind of thing that I'd probably buy as its own quirky tool in its own right. The last thing I'll mention that, again, I really like is beeping like mad. I've upset it because it's got to be level. Let me turn it off. Another thing I really like about this, and again, I'm quite old school, so although I like technology, sometimes I feel like it can trip you up and it can cause you more problems. And sometimes the idea that this is USB-C charged sounds great, you've put it on a full charge, but what if it's dead? You've paused the job, you've got this sat on the side, you're waiting for it to charge up. Something I really liked about this model is that they send you a USB-C chargeable battery, and literally you can either charge the body and that'll charge the battery, or you can plug the battery in directly, so you could get an extra battery, have another battery on charge if you wanted to do that. But they also send you this little kind of like caddy for 4 AA batteries. that goes in the exact same slot, and it just means if you're out on the job and your battery dies, you can literally get 4 AA batteries from anywhere. You might even have some in the van or have some in your house, and you can carry on. You're not being held up by your laser being dead. So just a well thought through product for a modest amount of money compared to some of the other top line kind of laser brands out there. And I thought, you know, firstly, I was happy to have one for free. So thank you to Huepar for sending me that. That will be going to use on my next job. And we'll put a link in the description. I want to talk quirky tools, but also good value tools that are going to solve some problems. So I think this is it. I'm going to put it back in the case for now. That might be a job for the live stream to cut this into some better foam, because their foam's good, but it's not great. It does need a better bit of foam, I'd say. And then you've also got your classic kind of little adjustment bracket that you can screw to the wall and then adjust it up and down. So most levels, my DeWalt came with one of these, and that's like a standard laser mount. But sometimes you just want to be quick, don't you? You don't want to be screwing up a laser bracket. You just want to be balancing it on a bucket. So there we go. That is a Huepar. Pretty happy with that. That is a winner for me. I like it. And that brings us to the last box, which is this beastie behind me. Let me get this down and give it an open. So that is the final item, and it is a JCB Site System triple stack toolbox. Now, I had this exact same toolbox from 12 years ago, and it was their first version. This is the JCB Site System Mark II, and they've improved it in numerous areas. But in terms of what is the quirky element, what makes this meet the Amazon quirky tools criteria, well, let me show you. Looks pretty standard, pretty untoward really when it comes to a triple stack toolbox, but you check this out. So you pull this little lever on the back, you tip the box forward, and the whole mechanism for the wheels can be removed. You might wonder why. Well, there's one major reason for that. All of these boxes can be mounted on the wall. So by taking the wheels off, you can mount the base box. But also JCB very, very soon are releasing one of the first rolling drawer boxes on the market. We're going to be working with them closely. We've already made shadow foam inserts for all of these boxes, and it's a great affordable system that I really love. Now, this is a box that's already on the market under numerous badges. You can get the Abara Connects, you've got the rigid Pro Gear system. So it's a system which doesn't just integrate with the old Site System boxes, it also integrates with all of the other boxes that look very similar. But the JCB really is, at this point, the leader. They've got the most accessories to go with this, including the wall brackets that come with the box. And it's just a beastly little thing. It's got bigger wheels than the last version. It's got better connecting points. It's got better locking points. It's got a bigger capacity. And when they offered to send us one, I thought it's got enough going for it that we can get some inserts made and get all of the tools organised. So I'll put this toolbox right back to the back. I'll take the top box. Now, if you're interested in a JCB Site System, again, we've got links down in the description. They've currently got a Black Friday offer on these on Amazon. You can also get them from the JCB website. We'll put our links down there. Make sure you use those to get the best price. We do have shadow foam inserts already available for the JCB Site System, and they're in grey. Inside here, we've got a couple of the accessories that come with it. We've got some totes, a little bin. We've got some dividers, and quite nicely, they actually include some wall mounting brackets. Usually this is the kind of thing you have to buy extra, but you actually get 4 wall mounting brackets with this system, and they're quite easy. I used the laser level to put this up on the wall earlier just to see how it works, and when it's on the wall it's really solid, it's not going anywhere. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That was a well thought out little addition they've gone for. Our inserts, as always, fit perfectly inside the Site System boxes, and there's enough space to have 2 inserts, so you can literally have a lift out tray, fill it with tools. Now, I have done a full video comparing the new JCB Site System with the older version. There's loads of improvements that I can't really go through here, but there's loads of new features and accessories on the way. Go and check out that video. It's a link up here, and you can see the full breakdown of what I think about this JCB Site System. But for now, that's the insert. Let's do a layout. So I've got a bit of a layout going. I've gone for all of the Bosch VDE tools on the base layer, and then this is going to be a lift out tray with all of the yellow and black. Surprising how all the colours match. That wasn't planned, I can assure you. I was just buying all the quirky tools from Amazon, and they just happen to be predominantly yellow. So we've got a cool theme there, and that all ties nicely into the black and yellow JCB box. All I've got to do now though is cut it all in, and when it comes to cutting shadow foam, it's really simple. You just place items where you want them to go on the foam, cut round them with a scalpel, peel back the foam, and create your very own ultimate tool organizer. Everything you need to cut foam comes in one of our cutting kits, and these come free with orders over £60 at shadowfoam.com. Shadowfoam.com is the best place to buy shadow foam. You get the best deals, and with Grey Friday, we've got an extra 15% off. So as a reminder, use Grey Friday 15 at checkout. You'll get 15% off your order. If you spend over £60, you'll get a free cutting kit. You'll also get this free t-shirt as well, in whatever size you need. We've got loads of sizes in stock, so that's pretty cool in and of itself. But we've also got some other great offers on the website, including a starter kit. If you don't know what to get, it's $44.99 for a starter kit. You get a cutting kit and a free Zollstock, which is our 2-meter folding rule. If you add a few other bits to your basket, make it £60, you'll also get the t-shirt as well. So don't miss out. It's one of our best offers we've ever ran. So make sure you take advantage of that. And let's get into cutting some foam. And I'm going to start with this knife in the top left corner. So I'm going to place it there, and I just literally use the scalpel like a pencil and just capture the silhouette on the foam. So I'm just cutting around it. I'm keeping the scalpel as close to the item as possible. I'm literally using it like I would a ruler, really. I'm just running the scalpel along the side of it. And I'm not cutting very deep. I'm just cutting enough into the foam that I'll be able to see the cut that I've made. Once I've gone all the way around, you can lift the item out of the way. And if you press on the foam, you'll be able to see that cut you've made. And then I can go back and make that cut deeper. So that little VDE knife is about 15-20 mil deep. So I want to make sure I've cut a minimum of 20-25 mil deep into this 50 mil liner. I can do that by making a little mental note on, or a little visual reference on the side of the scalpel, just so I know I've cut down deep enough. You want to make sure you've gone all the way around, then take the scalpel away, and at this point, this is the fun bit, you just push your finger down one end of the cut you've made, one end of the long shape, so it could be this end or this end, and you just hook in your finger under a seam, and you can feel there's a bit of a line there, a bit of a ridge. You just hook under that, pull it up towards you, and then kind of follow it along with your fingers. You're not peeling it like a banana, you're kind of following it along and peeling it little by little. And you can see a whole chunk of foam comes out in one smooth motion. That's what I've removed, that's peeled out, and then the tool slots in there, and I'll always know when that's missing. Now I'm going to do the exact same approach with all of the other items, get them all organised, probably add a finger pull as well to make it look cool and to make it easy to get the items out, and then I'll come back to you when it's all done. There we go, that is all of the foam cut, and that took me about half an hour to do 2 full liners. And our inserts like this come in twin packs, so if you do get yourself a JCB Site System, you can fit a fair amount of tools in that top box, and it's a lot better than just having an empty bucket basically with everything rattling around in. So if you want some shadow foam, make sure you take advantage of the Grey Friday offer. Let me know what you think of the grey foam as well. I think it's a bit of a winner to have a neutral but still a dual tone colour. So let me know what you think of that. All I've got to do now is stick the inserts in the box, get the final look. And final reminder on entering the giveaway. Make sure you drop a comment down below this video and make sure you subscribe, and then you'll be entered in with a chance to win the Bosch 7-piece Torx kit. No matter where you are in the world, we'll ship it to you. We'll message you if you win, get your address and ship it out. We have sent loads of prizes now, and it's a great little thing. We love doing little simple giveaways. Make sure you get involved. That is a toolkit. That fits in there flipping perfect. You could have a full toolkit in that box, and it is a lot nicer than having everything rattling around. So thanks very much for the couple of companies that have supported the video. JCB sending the toolbox, Huepar sending the level, and Bosch for sending their VDE toolkits. We're going to put links for all of these tools, including those, down in the description. So anything that you found interesting, you can find a link down in the description. Make sure you use the links because we'll put the links with the best prices on. So make sure you click the links down below. If you want some shadow foam, shadowfoam.com is the best place, although you can get shadow foam on Amazon if you want to. I recommend getting the best deal from shadowfoam.com. Get the t-shirt, get the 15% off for Grey Friday. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.